Is Sheeraz versus Pacheco in the making? Let's talk right quick.
Push the weight and now flex. The live is 1 in the 6. With the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker, change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Drew Titan, Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. I just want to do this quick video. I didn't do a post-fight thoughts on Pacheco versus, I can't say that brother's last name, Sundigo, Wendigo. I watched it. I fell asleep because it came on late. I woke up and caught the rest of it. Pacheco looked okay. Pacheco's 6'4" at the 168-pound division. Had reach. The gentleman that he fought. Let me make sure I get his name correctly. His name was Kevin Lele Sadjo. All right, and that was his first loss, by the way. That was his first loss. From what I was watching, I think I fell asleep like around round 4. What I did notice though is that he was well scouted. Kevin was. When I mean well scouted, I mean he was well scouted. He scouted Pacheco. He knew what he had to do. He had great head movement to try and close the distance and rough him up on the inside. The thing was, Pacheco did what he's supposed to do, and he could fight on the inside a little bit. The issue I had with Kevin was that I would like to have seen him jab more to get on the inside. If you remember, well, a lot of y'all are young. Mike Tyson sometimes used to out jab his opponents, and I can't think of many guys that were not taller than him, but he would jab and get on the inside and just try and tear you up on the inside. Body shots, quick right hook to the body followed by uppercut. So he had the right game plan, obviously trying to close the distance, but I would like to see him jab to get on the inside. When I woke up and I replayed it, Pacheco got knocked down. I forgot what round it is. And then he came back and hurt Kevin later in the fight. I think like round 11 or 10. But they made it to the bell. And from what I've seen, because I watched the whole fight in its entirety, Pacheco won the fight. There was no controversy there, nothing. You know, Pacheco won the fight. Now, on to this topic. According to Ring, they want Hamza Sheeraz versus Diego Pacheco. Wow. In the WBO rankings, of course, Terrence is undisputed. You know, well, I don't care what they do when they take the belts. You know, WBC took their belt, and now I think Christian and Billy is the interim. Yeah, really good. Yeah, nice. All right, fine. So whatever. But in the WBO, Canelo's ranked number 1. I think they're lining him up to fight Bud in the rematch in September. I think. Number 2 is Hamza Sheeraz. Number 3 is Diego Pacheco. So according to Ring, they're looking to make that fight. Both of these guys are tall. I think they're the same height, 6'4". I didn't hear because I turned it off after it went to the cards because by then I already knew who won. Somebody told me that Pacheco called out Edgar Berlanga. Look, if Pacheco wants to do that just to say he did it, I guess fine. That's up to Edgar if he wants that fight. Don't know what Edgar's gonna do to get back in his saddle. We don't know. But I heard, you know, that he called out Berlanga. I mean, if you want to do that, fine. I think that the more appealing fight for me would be Hamza Sheeraz versus Diego Pacheco. But the thing is, does Does Pacheco's camp want a Sheeraz fight right now? So I got to tell you, right now, as it's, you know, if you want to give it, if you want to talk about ring experience and a confidence booster, a confidence boosting win, rather, you got to give the edge to Hamza Sheeraz. You got to give him that edge. He came all the way to New York in Berlanga's backyard, pretty much. We was up here and in the tri-state. And not only did he win, he knocked him out. And I was at that presser. I got to tell you, man, you know, I'm a big guy. And when I get around these fighters, I always compare myself to the guys that are in like light heavyweight and above, because then, you know, we're around the same height, you know, almost the same size. And I stood next to Edgar. You know, I wasn't the first time I've been around him, so I knew his, you know, his height and size, whatever. Walked over to listen to what Sheeraz was talking about, and the first thing I noticed was, I said, man, this guy's 168. He had on a suit. I'm like, nah, man, he right there, because we were still maybe about 2 months out before the fight. I think I'm not too sure. But Hamza was at least almost 200 pounds, man, standing there. And I'm looking at him. I was like, yo, hold on a minute. And then I looked back at Berlanga and I'm looking at Sheeraz and I say, yo, hold on. I think this is a mistake. And a lot of people were mystified by the Adames fight. And he did say that he was a little drained going into that fight. So it was a struggle for him to make 160, 168. And that's what you guys got to understand about weight in boxing. It's a science. It's a science, and a lot of people don't understand that. Sometimes these fighters, they ask, well, how could he get stronger when they move up in weight? Because they're not cutting weight. They're not cutting weight. I see this all the time. Back in the day, in the 90s, there was a fighter by the name of Diego Chico Corrales, God rest his soul. And he moved up in weight. Forgive me if I forget the exact weight, but he fought a man by the name of Acelino Popo Freitas out of Brazil. And Freitas was a puncher. And Corrales, if you remember him, he was a lanky, skinny dude, but the guy could crack. And he went up a weight class and fought Acelino Freitas and chased him all around the ring and eventually started, you know, beating his behind. It was crazy. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he stopped him. That was on HBO. And he was screaming, I'm here now, I'm here now. And I remember, you know, some of my buddies were like, well, how could that be? I'm like, well, a lot of these guys, they cut to make weight for title shots and, you know, for money. And they put themselves at risk. If you remember, one of the biggest crimes in boxing was Miguel Cotto versus Manny Pacquiao. And I talk about this a lot on my live streams. What was done was Miguel Cotto was a champion. I think he was a WBO champion at 147. But Manny Pacquiao was the A side. And this is why I hate this A side, B side thing. This is why I hate it. He was made, and a lot of people don't talk about this, so you don't remember. Miguel Cotto was made to face Manny Pacquiao at 145 pounds on fight night. On fight night, which means he had to cut weight. It's bad enough he had to cut weight, but on fight night, he couldn't rehydrate past 145. And he was doing well against Manny until his body betrayed him and he got stopped. Well, Drew, you know, he would have got stopped anyway. Well, why is it that when Pacquiao was trying to duck a Floyd Mayweather payday, because this was before they fought, he explored the option of fighting Miguel Cotto again. By then, Miguel Cotto was a champion at 54. And he said, sure, I'll fight Manny, but I'm not draining again. He has to come up to 54. And then I had to listen to the Pacquiao fans talk about how Manny's not that big. And I said, well, look at the weights when he fought Antonio Margarito. He was damn sure close to 54 then. He was over 147 pounds. So what's going on? So it's all about who you are, what your fan base say, and how many butts you could put in the seat. That makes you the A side. And that's why I like Riyadh season, because they say, look, what you want to fight, Whatever the division is, you're fighting at it. If it's 168, you come in at 168 or below, and you rehydrate to whatever the next day. I'm sure if the camps want to work something out behind the scenes, that's up to them. But the money's there, and ain't no A side, B side. This is what I'm willing to pay you. And 10 times out of 10, it's more than what you would have made under the old regime. A side money, B side money, back end money, PBC, top rank, matchroom, who sells? None of that matters. And, you know, I'll talk about that some other time. But right now we're looking at this Pacheco Sheeraz thing. I read this on The Ring. They want it. Does Pacheco's camp want this fight? Because Sheeraz, he's on a high right now, and the young man can fight. I'll just say that, man. The young man can fight. He can box, and he showed Edgar Berlanga, yeah, I could punch too. Now, Pacheco's game, but is he ready for this? I don't know how many guys, I have to look at his box record, how many guys that Pacheco has fought that was his height. See, this is where things get a little risky right here. Berlanga right now is the wounded dog, but Berlanga can punch. Is Pacheco ready for that? Do you go and pad your resume by beating up a guy that already lost to Sheeraz? Or do you go straight to Sheeraz, collect the check, and not try and pad your resume, but get a notable win and let the world know, hey, man, I'm here for this. That's entirely up to his group. It's entirely up to him. I like this fight. I would give the edge to Hamza Sheeraz right now. I think Pacheco has some growing to do as a boxer. No disrespect to him. I just think he has some growing to do. And he's young, and that's always great. But I need to let the fans know, just because a fight is celebrated does not mean that they are the complete and total package. It's okay to root for the guy because he speaks your language, he's from your country, he's your neighbor, you watched him growing up, he lived up the block, down the block, across the street, or you know his father, sisters, cousins, brothers, uncles, roommate, that's all fine. But you know what? You got to be realistic. Is Sheeraz a little too early for him? Well, due to the rankings in the WBO, no. Because Hamza is ranked number 2 and Pacheco's ranked number 3. So I guess it makes sense. But that's up to Team Pacheco, because I think Sheeraz's game, I think he could do anything. In his mind, he says, I can do anything at 68, even compete with Bud. And I'm going to tell you something else. At 6'4", and a puncher, this is also a dangerous fight for Bud. Sheeraz versus Bud. But I digress. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Bronx on deck.
Move!